Hello YouTube and welcome back to Cover 2 Credits. Today I'm going to be reviewing I don't really know what to call it. It's sort of a light novel, but it's Korean. I know they call it something different, but anyway, I found it online on this website, or with a bunch of light novel translations, and I've been reading it for like the last week and a half. It is called the Legendary Moonlight Sculptor, which is a very interesting name for a very interesting novel. Basically, the premise is it's about a guy who's playing a virtual reality video game, which I know is not a particularly new or particularly original idea, but it is interesting in a few respects. So, the main character is Lee Hyun. I don't know. It's Korean and my pronunciation is terrible. Anyway, however, the premise of the story is there's this young guy. He's 19, 20 when the book takes place, or when the book starts anyway. It takes place over like 2-3 years. Anyway, basically when he was a child, his parents were killed in a car crash, and he was raised by his grandmother, and he was trying to take care of his younger sister. And when he gets into middle school, his grandma gets sick, so he has to go to work. But since he's a child, he can't be officially employed, so he started working under the table to make money. However, because of that, everyone treated him like crap all the time, and it really warped his worldview about people with money and power. But, you know, he goes through, he's a really hard-working kid. When he gets into high school, he drops out of high school to get a full-time job so he can so his sister can finish high school. He starts working 2 jobs, and in his spare time, he starts playing this video game. Basically, the Korean equivalent of old-school EverQuest is basically what this kid is playing. But because of his crazy dedication to playing this game, he would play it for, days and days at a time without eating or sleeping or really doing anything except playing this game. And he dumped hundreds of thousands of hours into it, and eventually became the single most powerful character in the game, who was able to solo all of the content and do all of the dungeons and get all the best weapons. Well, eventually, his grandmother breaks her hip and has to go to the hospital. So he decides that he's going to have to pick up a 3rd job, and he's going to have to stop playing this game. Well, he decides that he's going to sell his account, just thinking it'll earn him some extra spending money or help his grandma out. But he doesn't realize that because his character is so completely awesome compared to everyone else's, that his account is worth a buttload of money. Well, it ends up he sells his account and gets $3 million US for it. However, the problem then becomes, because he had so much back debt from when his parents died in the medical bills, he ended up having to pretty much wipe out all of that money just to get rid of the debt. And he ends up with basically nothing. So, in true video game addict fashion, he decides that, well, if I made $3 million playing this crappy video game, obviously I should just buy the newest one that everyone's playing and get another character and try to sell it. So, thus begins the story of Legendary Moonlight Sculptor, and the book follows his adventures while he's playing this game. And how he does it through his crazy dedication, as well as his skewed view on I have to make money regardless of the cost and who I have to screw over to do it. So basically, he spends the first month of the game punching a scarecrow with a wooden sword in order to stat up. And then he does all these ridiculous things like learning every single trade profession. And then as it goes on, he finally picks his actual profession. Because in this game, you don't choose your class when the game starts, you choose your class later down the line. Well, he unlocks a secret profession after completing this dungeon, and he's like, but it doesn't tell him what the profession is. Well, he ends up becoming a legendary moonlight sculptor who makes statues, and that's his class. But it follows his zany adventures as he plays this game. And Obviously, he meets a bunch of side characters, including the guys from his dojo, who are called the Sword Noobs and number themselves Sword Noob 1 through Sword Noob 504, who just run around without shirts on, stabbing everything. Seiyun, who is the main love interest in this. Well, one of the main love interests, I should say, who is this crazy serial killer, berserker, barbarian chick who plays because she's trying to rehabilitate herself in a mental institution. The other main love interest is a Korean pop idol who plays a dancer in the game, who falls in love with him for no reason, even though he's an ass to everyone he meets. Then he meets a couple other guys, including a chick who works for one of the news companies who follows the game. His sister starts playing. The main psychologist of the crazy barbarian chick starts playing, and as this story goes on, the cast of characters gets longer and more ludicrous. But it is completely hysterical because of this guy's worldview about money. And he goes through and manipulates all these NPCs into doing all these horrible things for him. And he does all these things to earn money. And like I said, it's a very, very humorous book about how this guy progresses through this game while playing one of the most crappy classes in the game. And it is definitely worth the read. I would recommend it 100%. I'm not going to rate it because I'm only about halfway through it. It has, I believe, 44 volumes. And I've only made it through about 26. And the guy's already like level 400 and owns half the world. I'm not really sure where they're going to go with it from here, but it's definitely a pretty interesting read. So, you guys should definitely check it out. The name is, again, Legendary Moonlight Sculptor. And I would definitely pick it up and check it out, especially if you're looking for something to read, because, yeah, it's solid. So, that's going to be a wrap, I believe, and thanks for staying until after the credits.